You know, sometimes people drive me crazy. Um, my cousin posted something. I'm not mad at him. It's reasonable to think what he posted was sensible, but it's not. So that's why I'm not going to say his name. But hopefully he'll see this. 1 day pauses on buying don't work. If I need milk, I'm going to buy milk. All a 1 day pause does is mean I buy the milk on a different day. Unless you can lower the overall revenue of the business by 1/365th for the whole year, meaning we do not compensate by buying what we need the day before or the day after. It's an absolutely meaningless gesture, and it's also not divided by 339 people. 18% of those people are 15 and under. They're not buying anything. And then you got the people who are retired who don't buy anything, and who are in nursing homes who don't buy anything, and people who are on SSI and buy only exactly what they need. You're talking like 40% of the whole population when you account for all the children. So you got to lower that number dramatically. and then and then you got to account for the 40% of the bottom of the population who only buys what they need to survive. They don't buy luxuries. They don't make enough money. 65% of the country is technically under the poverty line. The bottom half of that 65%, they ain't buying anything except what they need. And telling them not to buy what they need is basically telling them to commit suicide. That's not going to fly. It doesn't work. You want to fix this? There's only one way to fix this, and it's called fix the tax system. Right now, the tax system is a metaphorical gun to your head. Pay or die. Work or die. The only way to really fix that is to switch to an indirect tax system, to switch to a symbiotic tax system instead of the current parasitic tax system. And the way you do that, I keep trying to move up, and instead of moving my head up, I was turning the camera up slowly. I thought it was funny. The way the mind works sometimes when you're not fully paying attention. So the only way that's going to work is if you end all direct taxes. That means no more income taxes on wages. Income taxes are actually an indirect tax, but we incorrectly call the taxes most of us pay income taxes. They're not income taxes. Income equals revenue minus costs equals income. Well, let's do some basic math here, okay? If I agree to work for you for $20 an hour, well, what's the hour of my labor worth? $20. And you're paying me $20. Going to work for $20 an hour is no different than walking into a bank with a $20 bill and saying, "Can I have 4 5s?" It's an equal exchange. Okay, I made a revenue of $20. Well, what's my cost? 1 hour of my labor. Well, what's that worth? We've established it's worth $20. 20 minus 20. Income equals 0. Wage earners make net zero income. So when you pay your taxes, that's not income tax, that's revenue tax. Revenue tax is a direct tax. And that's supposed to be illegal. The Supreme Court has already established that a head tax is tantamount to slavery. And we get away with it by pretending it's income tax. We'll just call it income tax, then it's not a head tax anymore. Yeah, it's still head tax. You just gave it a different name. Okay? No more Social Security tax, no more Medicare tax, no more wage taxes, no more sales taxes, no more no VATs, no VAT tax. That's just another word for a direct tax. No tax to get your registration, no tax to get your driver's license, no tax to get a permit for residences. No tax for anything on private citizens for residential purposes. None. 0. No direct taxes. None. The only exceptions I might make for that is a temporary reprieve to allow sales taxes until we can figure out how to equitably handle that. And also for things that are direct funded. For example, when you pay for a hunting permit, that goes right to Game and Wildlife. So I'm actually okay with that. Okay? Gas taxes, no. In most states, that goes to the general fund. I pay more taxes driving this electric car than you do driving your gas car, because the tax per mile that I pay on my electric bill is greater than the tax per mile you pay at the gas pump. Even though I pay a lot less per mile to drive an electric car, the amount of that is taxed for the government is greater per mile. Okay? But that doesn't go to the roads. Yes, it does. In most states, the gas tax goes to the general fund. The taxes from your electric bill go to the general fund. It's the same tax, okay? End all direct taxation and have indirect taxes only. What that means is you tax the businesses directly. You say, okay, well, we're going to tax you X amount or X percent. Now, they can't just overtax a business that we use a lot, because that business will close up shop, take its ball, and go home. Okay, we'll stop buying if we overtax. So it's a balance. It's symbiotic. And now, even though we're still paying the same tax, because the only people who pay taxes are those who can't pass the tax on to someone else as a cost. As a business owner, I've never paid a tax, not one penny. My customers pay the tax. I build that into the cost of doing business, because if I don't, that's what we call bankruptcy. When you don't factor in the costs into your profit margin and you make a negative profit, that's called bankruptcy, a failed business. Okay? Any business that makes $1 profit is not paying taxes. You are. Okay? So what's the difference? The difference is you get a seat at the table. The difference is they don't have a metaphorical gun to your head that says pay the taxes. Or they don't raise your property taxes until they tax you out of your home and a more wealthy person just takes your home from you. Okay? We get a seat at the table. We get a vote. That's the difference. And that's why they won't do it. Over their dead bodies would they ever do that? Never. Give up that metaphorical gun? Yeah, that's not going to happen without bloodshed. But not buying from a vendor for a day does not work. You'll be lucky if you can get 1% of 1% of 1% of the buying population to even think about doing it. And you'll be lucky if 0.000000001% of those don't just buy what they were going to buy anyway the day before or the day after. It doesn't work. It's meaningless. In fact, you could enrich them more. Because now, well, okay, we a lot of business is gone. Hey, you two, go home. So now there's 2 private citizens not getting paid for that day. Oh, well, they'll just get extra work the next day. No, they'll just overwork the people who are there. So it's actually a negative result. That's why business doesn't care. That's why they don't care. So, and it's understandable why you think it would work. That's why I'm not mad. But you gotta think harder, and it just mathematically doesn't work. Not when you have a population of 300 million people. It just doesn't work.